Okay, we are live once again. Welcome everybody. I have an incredible agent person, somebody that I've known now for quite a little bit as a client, friend, and super excited. Sydney Deschatel, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us.
Thanks,
Every
Oscar.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you here. And guys, today, here's what we're going to talk about, right? Production as an independent agent, right? How to get over the struggles, how to produce at a really high level. Leads, we're going to talk about leads, lead generation, and we're going to talk about building a team, which is something that Sydney has now been really focused around, and it's going really incredibly well. So she's going to drop some incredible information for you guys. We're going to pick her brain and try to get as much of it as we can from her. So stay tuned, guys. Sydney, thank you for joining me and spending a little time. How you doing?
I'm doing well. No, I'm glad to be here, Oscar. Thanks.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, because I had your brother on, and then it was
I
like,
know.
well, shit, we got to get Sydney on this thing,
Yeah, I'm
and
like, what's going on? I've
what's
known you
happening.
longer.
I know. I'm sorry. I thought about that. I was like, shit, I wonder if she feels some kind of way because I've actually had a relationship with you longer than your brother. But we're bros, like we're dudes, your brother and I just connected, and you know how that goes.
I know. No, I wasn't mad. He's doing so well. And I'm like, yes, it makes me so happy. So I was actually
It's so
really happy
good.
when I saw it.
It's so good. I mean, the Deschatels. How about you guys? You guys are strong, disciplined. Like, man, you guys are killing it out there.
Well, now I'm like, I wish I would have put him on my team. Like, why didn't I do that?
Man, you really passed him up, and I tell you, he got swooped up. He got swooped up by the Anchor Point boys.
It's fine. He does really well over there. I was like, my thought process was like, yeah, it'd be cool to have family on the team, but I'd rather just like keep it separate, whatever. It goes
Yeah,
better that way. So
I think it does. I honestly like. I think it's. I'm always like, man, working with family. Like, I love you, but like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want
yeah,
to. Yeah, it's better.
exactly.
I
And he
think it's
does
for the best.
better with his, yeah. So it's just it's less of a headache. I get to just like go to his house and see my nieces and it not be about work. So it's fine.
Who are gorgeous, by the way. I see these pictures of your little nieces and obviously his kids, and like, man, what great looking kids he's got. I know. You're good at it. So big shout out to Nick and everybody over there. Yeah, you guys have this discipline. You've been in the business for actually longer than he has. So let's get into this thing. Like, just tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in insurance? What brought you into it?
Yeah, I've been in the industry. I think I just made 2 years in February. I did not like, I just didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. At the time, I thought maybe I was going to go back to school for nursing or something like that. And then I kept seeing people in the business post about it. And I'm like, I want that.
Mm.
And so it was really people posting about it on Facebook, people that I knew before entered the industry, and I saw how well they were doing. I was like, let me find out about this. So that's how I got into the business.
That's how you came in. And
Um,
what were you doing prior to it?
so before that, I was rooming patients at
Okay.
at the time I lived in Minnesota. So I was working at the University of Minnesota in like the infectious disease department, rooming patients. And
Whoa.
because I thought I wanted to go for nursing. And I
Right.
quickly realized like this is not for me. I'm getting grossed out way too easily. Like I can't do this. And then I started while I was in between rooming patients, like I was studying for my insurance license and I had a little office.
Mm.
And once I got my license, I started making calls in the middle of rooming patients. So I would be like closing. I think I closed something my first day,
Yeah.
making calls. I didn't know what I was doing, but I would like close something and then go room a patient and then get back on the phone and make calls. So
Man, I that's so what's interesting is hearing the similarities between your journey and like working another job and doing this and your brother, right? Kind of the same
yeah,
idea.
same
And
thing.
so yeah, so man, kudos to your parents, which is that where this work ethic and like this hustle comes from? Or like where did this come from? Because not everybody does this, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to grind and I'm going to figure this out. And I know I'm doing this job, but shit, I'm going to go do this other thing too.
I don't know. Both of us have always like worked our asses off,
Good
excuse
for
the
you
language.
guys.
But that, I
Yeah.
don't know if it like, I guess, I think for me, as I'm sure Nick too, it was like I very quickly realized like the money that I made directly reflected in how much work I put into it. Right. So I'm like, I knew nothing about the industry. I barely even knew what I was doing on the phone calls, but I learned like I knew how to talk to people. I love to talk. And so I didn't have any sales training or anything like that when I first started, but I was like, okay, this is really cool because I got really lucky it was like my first day making calls. I ended up closing someone. He was such a nice guy and just happened to be like the third of the month or something. And so he was like, yeah, I'll pay today. And the next day I got like an $800 deposit. And that was more than what I was making in 2 weeks at my current job. And I was like, this is wild.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I think it was easy for me to stay motivated because I saw results like the next day,
Quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you have, you're an outgoing person, right? You have this personality. And so I haven't heard any of your calls, but I can imagine when you're on a call that you're really good at what you do. And in 2 years, right? Because you've been in for 2 years, man, you've really made some waves. Man, in 2 years, you're now like, which we'll talk a little bit more. You're building a team. Your production is really at a great place. You're structuring the business. You're part of a great team, obviously, with Dana and Empower and the entire Lasting Mark organization. And what's that been like for you? Because I know obviously you came from somewhere else. You didn't start with Lasting Mark and with Dana. You came from somewhere else. But for newer agents that are out there like looking, and I always ask this from people that I talk to in the business, like how important has it been to align with other people that you feel good about, that have your beliefs, your same you know goals in mind? How important has that been in your success and the things that have happened in the last year since you've made that switch?
It has been the most, like I'm telling you, like the most important
Mm,
because if you're not with people that you feel like you align with or don't have the same like the same goals as you,
yeah.
then like you're not like I was put whenever I came to Lasting Mark, I felt like it challenged a lot of my like it challenged me to grow because
Mm,
before this I wasn't in an environment where I was like challenged to grow. And so when I came here, it was like yeah, my sales skills increased, my income increased, but like I also had to work on Sydney as a person too.
yeah.
And ironically, when you work on yourself as a person, like everything else grows also. And so
Mm,
it is so important because if you're not with people that you feel like you align with, then like you feel like you're doing this for nothing because day to day, this stuff it's not like a blast making calls and getting hung up on. And then like that's not fun, right?
yeah. Yeah.
But but if you're around people who have the same goal, same mindset, want to go in the same direction as you, you don't feel like you're doing it alone. And you
Mm,
know that it's like for a bigger purpose. You're not just focused on like making a sale that day. Like you have a future to look at because again, it's not fun day to day, right?
yeah, that's so important. I think, somebody that talks a lot about that is Roger, right? Roger Shore. Big shout out to Roger if you catch this. But
Big shout out.
yeah, he talks about purpose, like finding purpose and aligning with that purpose and diving into it, and I think you're spot on, right? Like having that purpose helps you get through these shitty days, because we have these
Right.
days where nobody picks up the phone or they tell us to go F ourselves or, they smack us, and it's like, damn it, and
Or it's
so how,
like they always have a doctor's appointment or something. I'm like, how many doctor's appointments do you people like? What's going on? And it gets frustrating.
yeah,
But again, like if you're around good people who get it and it just doesn't feel as you know that it's going in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot less
So important.
isolating.
So important to have it. And I think even more as like a work from home independent person, because then you're just like, you're alone on this island. And like, if you don't have others that you can connect with, and that was one of the things that I really noticed from the team. And now being able to see you guys and spend some time like in person, man, the connection that you guys all have, it's amazing, right? And it's clear why you guys are all thriving and why the whole team is really on the up and up. You guys are breaking records and all this stuff. It's like, dude, look at you guys. You know what I mean? You guys are out like having fun together. It's not just about working and dialing. You guys are building a real community and a real sense of like together. And I think that's awesome. Yeah.
It makes such a difference. Like if I
Yeah.
could go, I know that like I started where I did for a reason, right?
Yes.
But I feel like, you know, and I'm grateful I had that experience, because I feel like I would take what I have over here for granted if I didn't. But I'm like, I would be so much further along in my career had I just started right here, right? But I'm grateful that I had the experience, because I feel like it's rare that people start where they end up staying, you know, like I feel like we have to go through some rough experiences to really, really appreciate what we have. And so, yeah.
It's the only way, right? I can't think of, and I, of course, hindsight, it's like, yeah, I wish that would have, I would have started here, but it's like, man, you had to go through whatever you went through, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, shit, if we're not going through those things, you never get to the good parts, like
Exactly.
the good always comes with the bad. And I think that's an important thing that agents and people should just know coming into this business. Like, man, you're going to fall flat on your face. You're going to have really shitty days. You're going to fail, and getting comfortable with failing and leaning into it, I think, is what then brings you to success and where you really want to be. Yeah.
Because like at that point, once you have those experiences of failing, then you're able to help more agents, because it's so like you get on social media a lot of times and you see all of these like Lamborghinis and the Rolexes, and it's like, oh my God, they just made 5,000 today. And it seems like everything's just perfect. And I know there are probably agents at home who are new to the industry, like getting hung up on every day. And they're like, when is the Lambo going to come? You know?
Yeah. when Lambo,
yeah. Right. But like, in order, what I've told myself, which I firmly believe to be true, is that like, if you've gone through the hard stuff, which everyone does, whether you want to show it on social media or not, like we all struggle, and that makes us stronger, and it makes us, it builds our skill level. It improves us overall. But like going through those things allows us to help other new agents be like, okay, you're not crazy. Yes, like people are going to hang up on you. They're going to tell you to F off. And, if a Lambo, if that's what you want, like it'll come if you keep going,
Yeah.
But like the hard stuff is like, I feel like it's like part of the path, right? We can't just be given, we can't be given the money overnight.
I agree.
You have to work for it.
What would you say, like, if you now look back, hindsight again, when you first started in this business, what were your biggest struggles for you as an agent coming into this business? Now you decided this is it. I made $800 in one call. I'm in. I'm going to go do this. What were, maybe one or two of the biggest struggles that you were like, holy shit, this is really hard, and how did you overcome those things?
So there's like two main ones that came to mind whenever you brought that up. The first one is the emotional piece. Like because this business is such a roller coaster, it can be, if you don't have this under control. And so I'd have a really, really, really good day. And then the next day, everyone would hang up on me, or I couldn't close anyone, I felt like. And it was such a roller coaster. The way that I have had to overcome that, like when I got to lasting mark, I realized that I felt so up and down constantly, because where I was previous to this, we didn't track anything. So I never knew what was going into my business, what was coming out. Like I just never knew where my money was. Nothing was organized.
Yeah.
I didn't know what like a conversion. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what a conversion rate was. I didn't know, like, I was like, what are people talking about? Tracking their numbers. What does that mean?
What is that?
You
Yeah. What
know?
is it?
I did not understand. And then when I got here and realized the importance of it, I realized that like, okay, I understand when we're on the phones with clients, we want them to think emotionally and not too logically. We
Right.
want to think logically and not emotionally, because if we're just basing um how we did on how we felt that day, like we're gonna
Mhm.
have really high highs and really low lows, and it's really, really hard to control that. But when you make it about math and you track everything, it becomes a lot easier. So that has helped me so much, tracking
That's
things.
huge. That's
Oh
huge.
my gosh. Because
Yeah.
then you're not just guessing. You're like, oh, yeah, I got a charge back for this one, but that's normal because I know a certain percentage of my sales will be chargebacks. It's not the end of the world if I get one because that's expected, right?
Right. Right.
Um, Another thing that I struggled with, because I had never been like a business owner, I had always worked hourly. And so the investment part terrified
Mm.
me, right?
Mm.
Like I was broke. Like I was living paycheck to paycheck. And so you tell me that this $800 that I just made, that's more than what I typically make in 2 weeks at my hourly job, that I need to invest this back. My first thought was like, hell no, this is mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you understand what it took for me to make this? That was so hard for me. And it took, I think that's part of why I always felt like emotional roller coaster, because it was like, oh my God, I just got a few $1,000s deposited. I don't want to invest this back into my business. But I found that that's not even an issue for me anymore. A, because I trust the process, but B, because I'm tracking everything. I know what's coming in, what's going out. I know that if I spend this much, I'm making this much. And I just
Mm.
trust the process now, right?
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
it took time, but
Yeah.
now I don't even think twice. I know that Scale My Social is pulling X amount of money on Monday, and I'm excited for it because
Yeah.
I know that if I spend that
For
much, I'm
money.
making this much.
Yeah, money equals money. More money equals more money. Yeah, it's great to
Exactly.
hear the confidence in you, right? Because it's you can see it, right? That you really, that is how you feel. It's like, man,
Yeah.
I'm at a good place. I know I got to spend the money. I know I have to invest, and I this is something that I talk a lot about with new agents or newer clients that come to us, is the fear of investing into their own business and how tough that is to get to this place where it's like, yeah, shit, I made 1,000. Well, I got to put it all back in right now, right? Because I got to keep this train moving, and I got to know that. So that's super, super important. Tracking, gosh, I mean, that's everything. It is, and I think it's really a good way for you to put it for people to understand that it is the instrument that can keep you level-headed in a game that is very like up and down. And I love what you said, that even though it's a very emotional type of sale and you're trying to get that out of the consumer on the call, for the person doing it, for the agent, it's really the opposite, right? You have to be level-headed. Even though you're trying to get this emotion out of this person, the more level-headed you are and the more you understand that, the better you're going to be through the downs and through the ups. And so I think that's such important and incredible information for newer people.
It's so true. Yeah. Like if you're new and you're listening, track your numbers. It will keep you sane. Like I'm the type of person that spreadsheets freak me out. I can't stand math. I don't like any of that. And so I fought like hell to not track things because I'm like, oh my God, a spreadsheet. Like
Yeah.
you. And now I have to, because Sydney will get crazy if she feels like she had a bad day. And it keeps you so level.
Well, the awareness of you knowing that, right? Like
Mhm.
knowing that, hey, Sydney's about to break down unless I have something to look at and know that, like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm okay. Take a breath,
no, we're
keep
good.
going. Right? Yeah. Which, by the way, makes you is also what makes you such a good salesperson, right? Your ability to tap into that emotion and be in that position when you speak to people and you're selling. I think that's what makes you a really successful salesperson. and you having the awareness now and having the tools to bring you back down and like, okay,
Right.
it's okay. That's it's incredible, right? That's where you start finding consistency in business and success. And so good for you. It's so awesome to hear you say all these things. Tell us a little bit. So you did something great. I think last year at some point you were part of the Cody,
The ultimate agent.
you were on a reality show in the insurance business, you know. Tell us a little bit about that. Big shout out to Cody and his entire team. Great
Yes.
guys, great people over there. Tell us what that experience was like, that week or however long it was, you know, going through that process and the awareness that or not the awareness, but like what came after that, right? What opportunities, what things came after that? Tell me a little bit about that.
So I went to Ultimate Agent, I was with a completely different IMO, and I didn't really have training. It was a lot of like, well, let's just see if we can get you approved, that type of
Right.
stuff. I hadn't
Right.
tracked, yeah, I hadn't tracked anything. So I get to Ultimate Agent and I see like Clark Stanley and then Ashley and then Dylan, like they're all talking about these numbers and these conversion rates. And I'm like,
Mm.
why does everyone know their numbers? What's going on?
I
I
just
thought
know the
these things,
numbers I got to call, you know, I'm just calling them.
yeah, that's all I know, phone numbers. I was terrified. I felt like everyone knew what they were doing except for me. They kept
Mm.
talking about their sales process. And I'm like, you have one? I thought we just like call people and talk. And I thought, like, Oscar, I can't tell you how terrified I was. My first day, I was like, what are they even talking about? Like, I just
Yeah.
didn't know anything. And
Yeah.
I struggled while I was there. I struggled because like everything was on camera.
You're on camera.
And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
You're being filmed. Yeah.
yeah, I'm being filmed. I now feel like I don't know what I'm doing. When before that, I feel like I was pretty confident on the phone. And all of a sudden
Yeah.
I'm like, well, they're talking about a process. I don't have one of those. I just talk to people and it seems to work out well.
Yeah.
And I was terrified. I met Dana. It was on a Thursday. She was the coach. And
Mm.
she's like trying to coach me. I'm having trouble. It's this super type A personality man in New Jersey. And I'm getting like thrown around on the phone. Okay. And Dana's like, all right, ask a consequence question. And I'm like, what is a consequence
What is
question?
that? What is that?
And she was
Just
just like,
have-
oh.
yeah. Yeah.
And so she ended up just being like, she knew that like I had zero training. And so she was just like, okay, Sydney, find out who they're trying to protect. Like, find out why they filled out this form in the first place. Like, she had to break it down very, very, very simply for me. And so that's the mindset that
Wow.
I was like, I just need to figure out who these people are trying to protect. And it worked out really well. Like, I took that the next day, I sold 10 policies, had
Wow.
10,000 AP. And I
Wow.
was like, okay, this sales training stuff works.
Right. So a real
Like,
like turning point, right? A real like aha moment for you then.
yes, it was
Yeah.
crazy. So I'm like, this little process that they're all talking about, I guess it works. So whatever that is, I need more of that because
Yeah.
it's like everyone that I spoke to the next day, I was able to help. And it was like, I think I had like 11 or 12 presentations and closed 10 of them. And
Mm.
so I was
Wow.
just, yeah, I was like, I need more of this. Right. And
Yeah.
so not long after that, I also clicked really, really well with Dana. And so we stayed in touch and I was like, yeah, I want to, I want to learn from her. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Big shout out obviously to Dana Neeson. She needs no introduction out here.
Obviously.
She is an incredible person and such a leader, right? I think that her level-headedness, her approach, everything that she puts into the company, you guys, the team, it's rare, right? It's rare. I talk to a lot of agencies, a lot of people, and it's like, man, it is rare to find people like her, and so much respect and admiration for her and everything that she's doing and that you guys are doing. So turning point, massive, right? It was like, holy shit, okay, I think I figured something out here. So now you make the shift, you start, you make the shift over, you go in, and now fast forward, right? Because now you start really tracking, training, all these things that you were lacking. How much improvement, and can you quantify? I don't know if you have like a number where it's like, all right, before I made this switch, I was averaging this number and I was doing okay. But once I really honed in and made this switch, what was the difference? Can you quantify that a bit?
Oh, yeah. So whenever I was at my previous IMO, I could never, like, I did well, right? I bought leads every week, but I couldn't get past like the 16 or $17,000 in deposits mark
Hmm.
a month. Literally within 3 months of working under Dana, I had my biggest month of deposits. It was like $34,000 in deposits in 1 month. And I was like, what?
Yes.
Like almost doubled my income. And it's just because I'm not like, I know what's going on, right? Like the skill
Yeah.
level is there now, which
Right.
is super, super important. And also because I'm tracking everything, I'm a lot more level headed. I'm not just guessing what's going on, so income drastically improved.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it's hard to like give numbers about
Sure.
where I
Yeah.
used to be because I never tracked anything. So I think like,
Right.
so I couldn't tell you. I think I had good months. I mean, I did well, I guess.
Yeah.
But
No, it makes sense. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I just know that like I'm making a lot more money over here. And I'm, as far as I mean, last month, right? I think I was able to work 10 days out of the month because it just so happened I had like 2 trips in a month. So I missed a couple weeks. But just last month, I was able to, out of 10 working days, I was able to do $20,000 of production using Scale My Social.
That's right. Plug them. Give us a plug. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. I mean, listen, the stat of doubling your income in literally 60 to 90 days. I mean, that's it. That's how you quantify it. It's clear what that change did to you, the effects that it had. And I think it speaks volumes to what we said before, right? Finding the right system, aligning with the right people that that you feel are aligned with your goals, with everything that you have, and that's clear here, right? And the leadership and in Dana and Lasting Mark and the entire team. And so it's so important, guys, if you're out there and you're new and like you feel any kind of way about the system or structure that you're in and it doesn't feel right, you don't jive with it, man, you got to trust your gut and you got to go find and make adjustments. You have to make changes. Sometimes we stay in things for far too long because we just want to fix them and we think that we're going to fix it and we think that we're going to do better. And in reality, you got to pivot. You got to pivot sometimes. And it doesn't mean that you fail. It doesn't mean that you suck. It doesn't mean any of those things. It means that you've grown to where you are aware and you can see clearly that a shift or a pivot is required. And so, guys, it is fundamental. It is fundamental. And obviously, Sydney, you're speaking exactly to that aligning with the right people and system is 100%.
It's so important, like the most important.
Yeah. Or and it feels like money will just come, right? For me, that's how it's been, right? Like, man, if I the less I worry about making money and just worry about the fundamental things that are important, helping others, being aligned with the right people, feeling good about what I'm doing, man, money is the second part of all of those things.
It's so true, Oscar. Like, I'm glad that you brought that up because it's like if you're doing all of the things that you're supposed to do day to day and you're around surrounded by the right people who want to go in the same direction as you, the money always follows, right?
Yep.
Like, it just does. That's the way that it's always worked. Whenever I had my biggest month of deposits, I was limited on carriers that I was getting to know because, like, not all of my like releases, whatever, I hadn't been released yet from my last IMO. And
Yeah.
so this was brand new carriers. But like the difference is I was around really good people with really, really, really good leadership. You know, and I just felt like it wasn't just about money for the first time. And
Yeah.
then because I felt that way, the money followed. More money than I've ever made in a month followed. So I love that you brought that up because it's so true.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mhm.
And now let's give them like some of the logistical stuff. So you talked about carriers, which is, I think that's a good thing to talk about. How many carriers does a new agent or should a new agent really focus on? Because sometimes it's like, I need to have 100 carriers to produce, right?
Please,
So yeah,
no.
give some context and how many and why. Why don't you need like every carrier out there?
Because you don't. Okay. So this is like,
Don't, you know?
you just don't. And here's the thing, like I have quite a few carriers because I have a team, right? And so if someone's held up at their other IMO, we need them to be able to have carriers. If you're
Right.
a new agent, I swear you don't need more than like 3. Like
Wow.
I suggest having like a primary, like one that you go to for pretty much everything, maybe a secondary if your primary won't take them, and then a GI. And you will thank yourself because every day, like I love AmAm. I write most of my business with AmAm.
Mhm.
And so every day when I wake up, I log into AmAm. 99% of my business is right there and I can check on it. I know it's good to go. But
Yeah.
if I have it spread out between 10 different carriers, like
Yeah.
it's really hard to manage. And on top of that, I don't even think that's the most important. I think another reason why it's so important to not have too many is because new agents will typically try to find the lowest price. What carrier is the lowest price? Typically Mutual of Omaha. It looks really pretty and really shiny. And they're also the hardest to get approved with for level coverage. 9 times
Yeah.
out of 10, they're going to put my client on graded. And if I go to another carrier, they're going to get level. So if you
Yeah.
have too many carriers, you're going to be like shopping for the lowest price constantly. And we are of no help to our clients if we can't get them approved for a policy, right?
Yeah.
The only policy that matters is the one that we can get approved for and the one that they can actually sign,
Yeah.
so find a carrier with like a voice signature option. If you don't, it's not needed. I did it for a few months without that carrier, but just it's so important to not think that you need 10 different carriers and learn the ins and outs of 10 different ones. Literally stick to 3 max when you're new.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I agree. I remember the Mutual of Omaha, the red dot, the red dot or the yellow dot that this thing spits out. Like
You're like,
it's like,
do y'all take anything?
damn it, it's like, oh, shit. All right, we're back to the drawing board. So yeah, I agree, and I think that I'll say this: if you're just focused on price, I always say this, like, man, if you sell by price, you're going to die by price. And I don't think I don't think you're doing justice to your clients if you're just like focused on giving somebody a quote, right? Because anybody can give a client a quote, right? I think that it's so important to really dig in and the work that you guys do when you speak to someone. And if this becomes about value rather than price, then the sale is never a question, right? And
It's so true.
that's how you guys sell. That's how Dana, I know, teaches. And it's like, man, this is about value and what we're providing for you and what you're providing for your family by actually taking action and doing this. And it has nothing to do with price, but
Right.
if you don't have that mindset. And newer agents, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I see. Like newer agents, it's easy to just go to the quote, right? It's like, all right, yeah, let me just get this person the quote. And then they're like, the person's like, all right, I have a doctor's appointment. I got to go by,
Yeah. So true.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love that you touched on that, selling with value and not just the price, because if you don't create value and it's just about the price, they will fall for the next agent who quotes them a cheaper price,
You got it. Yep.
And so we have to build rapport and build a lot of value in what we're selling. or else like you don't have if the client was a lay down for you, they're also going to be a lay down for someone else who tells them they can get them a lower price. So
And
yeah.
that's going to happen, guys, right? Somebody, if you're selling by price, somebody's going to come along because they're going to see an ad, they're going to click on it, and that person's going to say, hey, I can save you $10. And if you had no rapport, if you built no real relationship with that person, guys, they're going to go for the $10 difference, right? And yeah. So
In
it's
the
so important.
beginning, in the beginning, Oscar, before I knew how to like build value, I had a client cancel on me for like a $2 difference. They were like, "Oh yeah, someone offered me. It's just a couple dollars." I'm like, "All right, cool."
Yeah. Where do we go from here? Good luck. Yeah. 'Cause there's no going back to it. Like you can't say
Yeah.
that. Yeah. It's super important. And let me ask you this: now that you're tracking and having all these things, because you said something that kind of stuck with me, which is, if you know that chargebacks are coming, right, and you're tracking that, then you expect it. It's not a roller coaster. What would you say is a standard or good cancellation rate that an agent should be like, okay, as long as I know I should be below this number, if I'm getting more than this percentage of cancellations or chargebacks, something's off. I need to go and train or figure it out. Do you have that number that you can maybe share with others?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure rule of thumb, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be above 80%. So
Right.
if you're getting more than 20% chargebacks, like we need to fix something. Now, something that has helped me so much, because when I first started the business, I was definitely getting more than 20%.
Sure.
um,
Selling on
I
price.
Yeah, I was selling on price, and I was never like never calling them again is a
Mhm.
huge problem, right? So like
Mhm.
I have made it my main focus this year to be super intentional about like nurturing my business too, right? So it's not just
Yeah.
about selling someone and then like, all right, I'm off to the next one. Like if
Mm.
we don't talk to our clients ever again, they're so much more likely to just go with a different agent, you know?
Mm.
And so for me, it's been as simple as like sending a text the next day, calling them a couple weeks later, just seeing if they got their policy in the mail. And it's like a 2-minute phone call, but it means a lot to them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you're more than 20% chargebacks, like I would really encourage, if you're new listening, I'd really encourage you to look at if you're following up with your clients ever again. Because
Yeah.
that's a huge problem I had in my first year. Like
Yeah.
just not following up, just to be transparent, not following up, and then like not like nurturing the business after I made the sale, right?
Yeah. No, I think that's great context. So 20%, right? And I agree. I think if you're above that, there's something to look at there. And then you followed up with something that's so important that I don't think people really ever talk about enough, and that is the follow up, right? And typically, as salespeople, right? And I say I consider myself, that's really who I am. Like, we're not good at that, right? We're good at like selling and then go and then the next, and like follow up, tracking are things that don't come easy to really good and successful salespeople. Eventually, you learn to do it and you have to do it, but guys, following up, and you mentioned something like a simple phone call, a text message, and now with technology, with CRM, like you can set up automations to check in with these people, right? And so, like, guys, you got to be using these tools. And one of the stats that I know to be true in final expenses, like, you got to get these folks to be in the book for that year, right? If you can get them to stay in for that 9, 10 months, they're there. The chances of that person ever canceling once they get over that first 10 months, it's like single digits, right? And so your job, right, is to make sure that you get those people through that first year, because it's going to assure yourself that now you have that residual, right? You have that policy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So important.
No, yeah, it is, because that I didn't do that my first year in the
Right.
business. And what made me really look into it was I saw people talking about residual income and, oh, I got my pay throughs. And I'm like, I ain't getting
What's
any
that?
of that.
Oh, what's that? I didn't even know this happened. Yeah. Yeah.
I was good at making calls, but other than that, like there was no process of following up or tracking. And I find this a lot when I talk to people. I think a lot of people end up really looking into following up with their clients whenever they realize on year 2 they should be making way more money than they are,
Right.
but they're not because they never followed up, right? And so, I think if new agents are listening, it's a common mistake that's made.
Mhm.
But you're gonna if we get into the habit of doing it early, and again, like you said, you can set sometimes it's as simple as a text that can be sent from your CRM. You don't
Yeah.
have to go on a 2-hour long conversation with them, right?
Yeah.
Just
Right.
like it could just be a text, but they're seeing your name, they know that you care, and they're a lot more likely to stay on the books.
Oh, great. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit, and then I know we got to wrap it up. You got a million things going on, and um, now here you are, right? Now you have a team, right? Now you're leading other folks out there, And so, tell us a little bit, like, what's that been like to have the opportunity to now start building a team? And same question, like, what are the biggest challenges, one or two things that you have faced now as a team leader, growing that, and that can help others that are there, right? That are like, okay, I'm going to start recruiting and bringing in agents. What are the one or two things, and how have you overcome, or what are you doing to help you better those challenges?
Yeah, so it's been amazing. I like it's really cool because I truly believe in what we do, and I'm so confident in where I am, like with
Mm,
on Dana's team,
yeah.
that like I feel like I transfer that belief well because I believe in it. Now, on my last time, I was scared to recruit people because I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't want to bring you into this, like how, whatever. But it's a
Yeah.
lot easier to build whenever you align with the people that you're building with. One of
Mm,
my very early struggles when I started building, around a year ago, was I realized, and this is no one on my team currently, but these are people that have already left. I realized that not everyone like sticks it out. Like for
mm,
me, when I first started, I didn't have a plan B. And I was so excited about this opportunity that you know, I may have had a rough day or a rough week, but I wasn't leaving. Like I wasn't exiting the industry. But
right.
not everyone, right? Not everyone holds that belief. And
Mm,
so I remember my first agent got left and I was so confused. I was like, what do you mean? Like, do you what?
yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
fathom it because I'm like, I know that this industry can be really, really, really hard, but it's also really, really, really worth it. And so I
Yeah.
realized that not everybody has experienced that or holds that same belief.
Hmm.
So I was just really confused whenever I had my first agent leave, right? And
Right. Where are you
Dave,
going?
yeah, what do you mean? Like, do you
Yeah.
not understand how great? I know it's hard right now, but like it's gonna get really good, trust me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not for everyone, and that's okay. And
Yeah.
Dana has taught me not to get like too attached to people. And so, that's like I can't want it more than someone else wants it.
Correct.
But I've learned a lot, right? Like it's taught me so much because I wasn't much of a leader before this.
Hmm.
And so it's been but it's been amazing. Like I get so much fulfillment meeting one-on-one with one of my agents and seeing a light bulb go off, right?
Mm,
Like that is, I'll be honest, Oscar, I don't wake up in the morning. I'm not like, let's go protect these families, right? Like
yeah.
That's
you
not
don't brush the teeth to that, you know?
that's not where my fulfillment comes from, but I get so damn excited about my team, like meeting with my
Yeah.
agents, seeing them make a sale, like watching light bulbs go off, watching them grow. Like that is where my fulfillment comes from, and it has been so worth it.
So awesome. It's so awesome to hear you say that stuff. I think it brings another level, right, of stress, pressure, challenge, but it also brings a whole nother level of that fulfillment, of happiness, of reward.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's really good. It's really good to see you get to this place. And I think that you said something before, which was you've worked on yourself, right? Which I think to be a better leader, you have to be able to work on yourself and look at yourself in the mirror and identify, okay, here are the things that I'm lacking. Here are the things that I need to work on. And more often than not, the more you can do that, the less you're blaming, right? And it's somebody else's
Right.
fault. It's not, right? It's more often
It's
than
me.
not, it's our own. Yeah, yeah, it's typically
Yeah.
us, and it's hard. It's really hard sometimes to sit there and see that, right? And like accept
Mhm.
it and go, okay. But I think the more that we can, and you can dig into that shit and then help the people around you, like, man, that is what a real leader is. And so it's so good to hear your confidence, where you are. Um, Tell us a little bit about what the rest of this year looks like. Like, what are your goals for, December 31st? You're looking back on the year and it's like, shit, I did it, right? I got here. What does that look like for you? And whatever it
Yeah.
is.
So my focus, I mean, I'm still personally producing. I hope by the end of the year to have a team like to where I can step back from that and
Mm,
not have to rely on it.
yeah,
Because like whenever you're personally producing and leading a team, like
yeah,
it's like, okay, right now I have to put on my producer hat. Now I have to put on my leader hat. I would
mm,
love to be able to step back from put the producer hat on and just grow
mhm,
the team. Like
mm.
I think about different people on my team who have expressed to me that they also want to build a team, and like thinking about my team also having a team, like one of those things that actually makes me want to cry, right? Because I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, so that's
wow,
the goal. Like
right,
I want leaders on my team, which I already have people expressing that they do want to get to the point where they can build a team. So like that's the goal by the end of the year, to be able to step back and just focus on only my team and building it and helping people direct to me also build their own team. And I find I get a lot more confident doing that because I know the resources that are here. Like we're not just saying, all right, so you just got your license a month ago. All right, time to go recruit. Because I've seen
right,
that happen before
right.
too. Like
Yeah, yeah,
when you're confident in where you are and what what your agency has to offer, you're a lot more confident in
mm,
building. And that's what I found has been true to myself. Like I used to get so afraid to have new agents because I'm like, I don't know what to teach. Now I'm like,
right,
please, because I love doing this shit.
right. Yeah, now that
you
that
know?
has completely shifted. Yeah,
Yeah, it's more my
fantastic.
mindset is more like because I know how much this industry has changed my life in just 2 years. And so to be able to play a part in it changing other people's lives, like it's a feeling that I cannot explain, you
So
know?
good, so good, so good. And listen, you're on pace to do it. Your production. I mean, you did 20 grand in 10 days. We were just talking before we actually hit record how we had some struggles in the campaigns in the last like 6 weeks. You were running hot. January, February. It was like, holy shit. I can't not close one of these leads. And it was like, yes, everything was going really well. And then of course Meta made some updates, ads shut off. And it was like 3 days before going to this lasting market event, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta go face all these
I
agents,
gotta
and
see them.
oh my god, I gotta go like talk to them and like face this thing. And it is business and life, right? When things are going really well, that's typically when sometimes you'll get punched in the teeth, and it's like, how are you going to show up, right? How are you going to come out and fix it? And um, having the relationship with you guys, with the team, with everybody. And I'm somebody that, like, I'm not going to stick my head in the sand. If something is wrong, man, I'm here. I'm going to show up and we're going to try to fix this together. And you were super patient and you stuck with us, right, through the last 4 or 5 weeks, right, where you could have easily been like, no, like, fuck Scale My Social, like, I'm not getting what I was getting January and February, but you stuck with it and here we are, right? We worked through some of those issues and I think things are back on the kind of up and up. So tell us a little bit about that.
Let me say this, Oscar. I I love Scale My Social so much because I can't do this with anyone else. Like I'm sure you probably get sick of me because I'm like, hey, Oscar, this is what I'm seeing. I feel like whatever. I'm sure you're like, damn, chill.
Damn it, Tiffany. No, it's not like that. It's not.
But like what I tell agents is, okay, if I'm seeing a bunch of GIs, if I'm like, let's pretend I'm getting my leads from a lead vendor and I'm seeing a bunch of GIs, I can't text that lead vendor and be like, hey, I'm seeing a bunch of GIs. He'll be like, all right, cool. I mean, I don't know what
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
you, you know.
yeah.
For you, I can literally be like, hey, Oscar, I'm seeing GIs. For some reason, I noticed today that I'm not having, the pickup rate that I want. Can you take a look at everything? And I trust you so much. I'll literally be like, I don't care what you do, just like do something, if you think something needs to be done. Cause like
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. But that's what I love because I can tweak it as much as I want. For in February, my algorithm, because I had been tagging quality lead, I had been, I don't know what else did this, but it's like all of a sudden in the beginning of February, my algorithm had found business owners, right? They all owned like construction companies and it was like
Yes.
people with money and they were all healthy because they were still working.
Right.
And I was like, this is insane. If a new agent is listening and you work in final expense, you'll know how crazy this is. But I would have people that were just like, yeah, I don't want to spend too much, maybe like $200 a month. And I'd be like,
yeah, that's not too much. That's
yeah, that's
not really a big
fine.
policy. Yeah, well, I can find something like that for you,
Yeah, I guess I can. But
Yeah.
like that's what I love with Scale My
Yeah.
Social. I can tweak it as much as I need to and then just like let it sit and know that my algorithm will end up like that, right? Or if I'm
Yeah.
seeing too many GIs, I can say, Oscar, I'm seeing some GIs. Can you do something? And you always have an answer, right? You're always like, yeah, we can do this. And it's so nice to be able to personalize it. And I absolutely love that. I can't even tell you how valuable that has been for me. Because also, whereas I feel like I'd be paying, I don't even want to know what I'd be paying for mine in particular, because I have different stuff. Yeah, like conditional form.
Yeah.
Like a landing page.
Yeah. We're running it all.
I don't even want to know what I'd be paying for mine from like a lead vendor. But with yours, mine are down to like $9 or $10 with all this crazy extra added stuff to it. And I'm like, that is it's amazing. It's amazing.
I appreciate that. I appreciate I appreciate you sharing that because it is, I think that's one of the biggest things about running ads. If you're working with the right company, it's like, hey, you can shift. We can make tweaks. We can make changes because it's yours, right? It's your campaign. We're running it for you. And the longer it runs, the better it gets, right? Things are never perfect, right? Things happen like this API debacle, right? Which was like, it was like a shitstorm, right? But these things happen, right? And the key is, do you have somebody aligned with you that is going to work to fix it and get you back and get the things that the result that you need, right? And so we work on that. Yeah.
I was going to say, y'all like worked, I don't even want to know how many hours y'all worked to like over the weekend to get things back up and running. Like y'all made sure that we were taken care of. And my kind of outlook on it is, like, did it suck? Yeah, obviously, but it was no one's fault. Like but those are the types of things that are going to happen when you own a business, right?
Yeah.
Like they just happen and it's kind of how you deal with it. Like, am I going to cry about it? Maybe I did, but but like
Maybe a little
also
bit, you know?
maybe a little bit. But like you work through it because what else are you gonna do? And as long as
Yeah.
you know that you have like people managing your campaign that know what they're doing and are gonna work to make sure that everything ends up working the way that it's supposed to, then you're in a good spot. And you probably learned, like we all learned a lot from it. For
Oh
me,
yeah.
I was like, I knew lead abundance was important, but
Mm,
like you don't realize how important it is until your ads get shut off. And then you're like, yeah, I am never not living in lead abundance ever again
yeah.
because I saw how important it was, you know?
Which is
So
what
as
you
long
have
as
now. You know, now it's like, right, you're averaging 100 plus leads a week consistently, right?
easily.
Yeah,
Oh, I think last week I got like 140 leads, between
yeah,
120 and 140. And I love it that way because, like, I also have a team. So not all of my time is designated to dialing, but whether you have a team or not, lead abundance is so helpful. And I'd be paying, I don't even want to know what I'd be paying if I was buying the leads that I'm getting from a lead vendor. And right now I'm getting them for like $9 or $10 a piece, which is
yeah,
just crazy to me. I'd be paying
yeah,
double what I'm paying, like well
yeah.
over double.
And by the way, even just so people know, right, like, because we get this question a lot, like, all right, but I'm also paying this management fee, right? And so, guys, just so you know, like, if you work out the numbers and you're doing 100, 120, 140 leads a week, and you're paying the ad management per month, it literally breaks down to like $1 a lead. You know, that's what you're
Right.
when you break down the ad management. And so like if you can average $9, $10, $11 a lead on an SMS verified conditional form to get rid of like sick people or too old or broke people, landing page convert, all the things that are running, like
It's a
that's
no-brainer.
yeah, it's a pretty good deal. Yeah, it really is. It
It's a
really is.
really good deal. Like it's
Yeah.
a no-brainer.
I
So
appreciate it. I appreciate you so much. It's awesome. Thank you for giving us this plug and like talking so well about us. We're not perfect. Shit's gonna happen, guys. Shit is gonna break. You know, we will have hard conversations when that time comes. But I am confident that my team and everybody is doing the best that we can and helping you guys succeed. Sydney, let's tell everybody, how do we, as somebody that wants to join the team, they just watch this and they're like, holy shit, I gotta team up with Sydney, Dana, the Empower Group, Lasting Mark. How do they find you? Your information is going to be somewhere below, obviously, the video, but if they want to follow you on social, if they want to reach out to you about working with you, what is the best way that they can do that?
yeah, so send me a message on Instagram. I think my Instagram is it's my first name underscore last name. So let's see, it's SYDNEY underscore DESHOTEL. Sydney underscore Desatel. So that's the easiest way to reach me. You can also find me on Facebook, which is my first and last. Message me there. But yeah, social media is the best way.
Reach out, guys. An incredible person, leader, salesperson. It's awesome to see you and where you've gotten to and in the time that we've known each other. Super grateful that you've given us the opportunity to keep working with you and appreciate you spending some time with us today, Sydney. Thank you so much. And keep killing it, girl. Keep getting it, you know?
Thank you, Oscar. I appreciate y'all. So I wouldn't be able to do any numbers that I do without Scale My Social. So I appreciate y'all as well. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Guys, if you're interested in hearing about our programs, what we do for lead generation, ad management, agency setups, below there's also a link that you guys can book a call and talk to somebody on our team. And I'm pretty sure somewhere in here there's a video. In the next video, I think we're talking about, let me see. Oh yeah, building an agency. Next video coming up right here. Stay tuned. Go watch it, guys. It's incredible. We'll see you guys on the next one. Appreciate everybody.